Hey guys, what is going on? It is Gear and here, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing Eden Zero episode 13, but of course you probably already noticed something's a little different. Well, if you've not checked out my post, of course, you might have noticed that I've got a copyright strike on my channel. Well, that was probably because of that review I did. Even though the background was the episode, of course, I made sure that it wasn't really like 30 seconds long or there was no sound to it, and I was literally blocking it with a picture. But for some weird reason it got copyrighted, so now it's just going to be gameplay whilst I'm talking about the episode. Of course, this is just going to be a temporary thing, or maybe even a full thing, if you guys like it, of course, for future videos, because right now, of course, that copyright strike has been a little bit annoying, but I can't complain about it. We always have to move forward, of course, and I cannot stop making content for you guys, because if I stop doing that, well then I really would just be disappointing the community that we have built together. So I'm going to keep making content, keep making videos, but for now I'm just going to be a little bit safe on the videos I make and the background I choose to do. So I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get right into our review for Eden Zero episode 13, where it looks like my head's just exploded because of how much it's actually gone through, like the twists and turns and everything and what's happened, and literally I cannot understand what has happened. So let's start it from the beginning. What happened at the beginning? Well, of course, it was let's just say a showdown between Shiki and that Drakken minion. So of course he had his little scythe and he was of course hanging up players that could, let's just say, having a slow death, and literally they could not log out because of his hacks. And so because of that, they were literally feeling the pain and they were slowly dying. And then at the beginning of the episode, of course, it looks like they just disappeared, and it looks like, of course, they were able to log out after they got killed. So that was, of course, good for them, but the amount of pain that they had to go through, that was very bad. So of course now Shiki is super pissed off at that guy. He is going head straight into him and he is fighting him, just because he's so pissed off about what he's done and what a scumbag he is. And I gotta admit, the way Hero Marshmallow's drawn him, he definitely looks like a scumbag that you would see in any type of anime. I know that's being probably a little bit stereotypical, but it is literally the face and the way he looks and the way he sounds too. It just all fits perfectly to a scumbag in any anime. So of course, as they are fighting, it looks like the scythe that he has isn't just a regular scythe. So of course Shiki goes in, head charging, of course, as he normally does, and when he goes charging in, it looks like the scythe's true form is revealed. So of course, if you remember from the previous episode, of course, remember that big ass monster that ate like 2,000 years or 50 years of planets and continues to eat it, and it's just doing it for some unknown reason? Well, it looks like that scythe is a miniature version of it, because it looks exactly like it, but it looks like it's got different properties, because it doesn't look like it can actually like absorb time or eat time. It looks like it's just a monster that is similar to it, but of course its original form looks like a scythe. So that is interesting. So when it was unlocked, of course, everyone was shocked, thinking, how the hell does he have that type of scythe? And of course it was very difficult for Shiki, because let's just say his head got caught in its mouth. But luckily for Shiki, his head didn't get, let's just say, chopped off, because his hair was eaten instead. So Shiki now looks like his original, let's just say his original look now, and let's just say all of his hair was eaten up by that monster. So of course, just before that guy could actually do another attack, it looks like Shiki actually literally put a building onto him. So he threw a building onto him using his gravity ether gear, and that didn't even damage him one bit. So now it looks like, of course, before he had the time to counter attack, it looks like it was his time to log out. Don't know what that means, of course, but it looks like it was his time to log out of the game. So he just logged out, and then of course he said, watch out for me next time, because I'm going to be super pissed off. So that was a little bit, let's just say, not very satisfying, because it wasn't really like a satisfying fight or satisfying like ending to it, because right now the guy just logged out and Shiki didn't even land one blow onto him. So it was a little bit unsatisfying and underwhelming. But as the episode went on, of course, it looks like the crew have saved the city for now, as that guy logged out, and it looks like the villagers are very grateful for that, because they were worried that the village would literally get destroyed because of that one guy. So of course the villagers thank the crew and they ask him about Hermit, and it looks like, surprisingly, they know who Hermit is. So they guided them to where Hermit is, and it looks like Hermit is on top of a let's just say a cliff, you would say. So she's on top of this diamond crystal looking cliff, and she is just sitting there literally lifeless as she was in the real life world. So that is interesting. So as the crew of course go up to her to of course recruit her for Eden Zero, it looks like she is still at her lifeless form and she doesn't really move a bit. She of course is then told about Eden Zero, about Witch, about Sister, about everyone getting back together so that they can actually go on a journey to find Mother. So it looks like that's interesting, and let's just say as the episode goes on, it looks like Hermit is not changed one bit by anything they say, because it looks like Hermit doesn't like humans at all, because whenever Shiki of course went up to her, she said, "I don't like humans." A little bit surprising and a little bit shocking, because she is one of Shiki's grand stars, so why would she not like humans? Well, hopefully we'll find out more about that in the later episodes, but it looks like of course for now Shiki is a little bit shocked about that, so the crew go back to their cabins. But before they went back, they noticed that Homura wasn't with them. So of course it looks like Homura went off to somewhere, and it looks like Homura was actually a double agent. So she has infiltrated Shiki's group, and it looks like now she's actually working for some secret underground organization. So it's very weird, and it looks like she's just, well, she looks like she's just tricking the guys and fooling them, because she's using some, just say, secret background that she has. So it's very weird about Homura. So of course she meets up with one of her friends, well, you can say colleague, because they're not really friends, and they just talk about how she's able to fool Shiki and the crew. And then the crew of course are back in the cabins where they discuss how they're going to get Hermit onto Eden Zero. And of course, let's just say Homura is back there, but of course she's not acting like her normal self, and the crew are just discussing what they need to do next, or how they can of course recruit Hermit. Just as they are doing that, of course, the bell tower in this village starts to bell quite a lot, and the crew go outside to investigate what is going on, and it looks like hundreds and thousands of monsters are charging up to the city. It's for unknown reasons, of course, because the NPCs are like, well, we weren't heard about this event, so what is going on? Why are there monsters charging us to our village? What is going on with this? Well, it looks like a little bit of a system glitch, because it looks like let's just say, you could say the army commander, so the demon something, he was of course the one that decided, let's just go charge into the village, of course, kill all the NPCs, but torture all the players. That is what he gave to his army, and he said of course that if you don't do this, of course, well, we are just going to take over the village, and this is going to become a monster village. So a little weird why they are doing that, because it's just random and unexpected. And also another weird thing is, why are they suddenly attacking the village when they were probably just doing their own thing? Well, maybe Drakken's minion might be involved in that, and we'll probably find out more about that in the next episode. So let's just of course keep going forward on what's going on. So of course, as the army is charging upon to the village, these monsters, big and small, it looks like Shiki, it looks like he was able to use his ether gear, and he is literally destroying them. He is going to 1 versus 1,000 army style, literally destroying each and every one of them, and he's using his ether gear in the most effective and efficient way. But it looks like the army have got a little bit of a flight advantage, because they are able to use these winged bats, and those were going after Hermit for some unknown reason. So of course Shiki went after them, and he entrusted the crew to take care of the rest of the minions. But as, let's just say, Rebecca was getting ready, it looks like Homura again disappeared on the crew when they needed her the most. So that again is very weird. So of course, as Hermit of course is just sitting on top of a, let's just say, the cliff, and she's just seeing the bats come to her and thinking that it's her time to go, Shiki comes out of nowhere using his gravity ether gear yet again, and he saves Hermit from of course being attacked by those bats, and of course he launches a little bit of a counter attack back at him, so that of course they don't do, let's just say, chase after him. So it looks like of course Hermit is saved, and of course the crew are having a very tough time battling off this army of minions, of monsters, so that they can protect this village. So of course, as they are getting pushed back so much, Shiki again comes out of nowhere with Hermit of course, and he of course entrusts Hermit to the crew whilst he fights off the army, 1-man army style. Again, I love that. And of course it looks like they are finally getting pushed back, and it looks like that monster from the previous episode has also volunteered himself to help protect the village, even though he belongs on the monster side. He has chosen to protect the village, so that's a very nice thing to see, of course. So he protects a little girl, of course, as the minions were going after her, and it looks like, of course, everything's going good. But out of nowhere, of course, it looks like in this little alleyway there are little, let's just say little monsters with crossbows, and it looks like they are suddenly attacking the monster. So they of course are shooting many arrows at it, and of course if the monster moved, the people behind him would be, let's just say, killed. So of course he stood there absorbing all of the arrows like a true person should do, and he literally defended everyone. But sadly it did cost him his life, so that was very sad to see. And just as the little girl was crying, it looks like we finally found out where Homura went, because she was actually with that monster, and it looks like the minion, so the Drakken minion, he came back online, and he was also telling the little monsters to fire their bows at the monster. It looks like Homura has actually sided with him, and it looks like, of course, now Homura wants to kill that little girl. But just as she does it, of course, Shiki comes in, he takes the arrow into his arm, of course, and let's just say he does protect the girl, but everyone is so shocked thinking, why is Homura doing this? Why is she turning suddenly bad, and what is she doing? Well, just as they do that, of course, Homura explains that, of course, she just fooled them. She wasn't really wanted to be their friends or anything, they were just fools that believed her. So of course the crew are literally in a state of shock right now, and just as they're doing, of course, Homura of course threatens to shoot Shiki unless he goes away, but of course the minion was taking none of it, so of course he just ordered everyone to shoot their bows at Shiki. Just as they were shooting at Shiki, I gotta admit, this is the part where it gets the most twisted. Homura comes out of nowhere yet again. So this looks like it's the real Homura, because she is able to use her ether gear, and it looks like she has actually deflected all of those arrows that were aimed for Shiki. And it looks like, of course, everyone's in another state of shock again, because they've just been shocked twice. Firstly, of course, Homura turning bad, but this time secondly, another Homura coming out of nowhere and of course saving the crew. So the episode ended off with that, so I'm a little bit disappointed because I want to find out what the hell is going on, why is my mind confused like this, and what is going on in Eden Zeros. This plotline is too much for me and I'm loving it. Thank you Hiro Mashima for creating such an amazing series, and the animation for it is so beautiful. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed the episode, let me know down below what was your favorite moment in the episode, of course. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop it a like. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, of course. Take care and peace.